The X470 chipset will be out in just a few days, but apparently a reviewer was able to get their hands on the chip early. So stay tuned. Welcome back to GamerMeld. El Chapuza's Informatica, I know I'm still pronouncing that one wrong, I do apologize. Either way, you may have seen them in my recent video where they were able to get their hands on a Ryzen 7 2700X early. Unfortunately, it had some instability issues on the current drivers with the X370. Well, they're back this time with an X470 chipset, and it's doing much better, at least in the areas that didn't make much sense before. Now, remember that it's hard to definitively answer anything with just one review, so whatever I form out of this is subject to change. First up, the 2700X was able to overclock to a stable 4.19 GHz on all cores, though at a pretty high voltage of 1.456 volts. There's a chance that lottery winners could reach that 4.3 GHz, but it's tough to say. Either way, the 2700X was only able to get where the X370 was, so it doesn't seem the new motherboards will offer higher all-core manual overclocking than the X370. Remember that the extra boost feature is for a single core overclock only. Now, let's talk about why you're here, gaming benchmarks. When it comes to gaming, I want to point out the reviewer's setup to explain some things. They're running a GTX 1070. That's extremely important because the reason reviewers use some of these high-end cards is to take away the GPU bottleneck as much as possible. That's also why lower resolutions or settings are used in CPU benchmarks. At 4K, the bottleneck almost always becomes the graphics card, so the differences in CPUs practically vanish. Unfortunately, they use a 1070, which don't get me wrong, I'm sure that's just what they had. With that said, even with all of these differences that should make the CPUs much closer in performance from a regular review, the Ryzen 7 2700X got as high as a 13% performance increase over the 1700X. Using a more powerful GPU, we'd probably see a good bit more. Of course, we'd also see a higher difference between the 2700X and 8700K, but still. When we move to 4K, you can see the differences between every chip pretty much vanishes because the GPU becomes the bottleneck in this case. So what does all this mean? For one, I think it does a great job of showcasing how much more important your graphics card is than your CPU. If you literally only game, the 8700K is going to be your go-to chip. At the same time, if you're playing at higher resolutions or you don't have a top-of-the-line GPU and do even some streaming, content creation, or anything like that, the 2700X is a great buy. So while that does it for today, what do you think of AMD's newest chip? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you want to purchase it for pre-order, make sure to check out the affiliate links in the description. And as always, have a great day.